Good afternoon, everyone. This is Mario Quintero with the One Stop Shop happy hour show for every Thursday afternoon. And big surprise today. My counterpart, Andy, is enjoying a wonderful vacation in Colorado with his family. So last minute, I found out that I was going solo for the first time on one of these live video shoot. So here I am, a little nervous, trying to do the best we can today, but hopefully our session will be informative. It deals a lot with rentals and renting of the, you know, commercial properties, residential properties, how we work with investors and how we assist them in getting their rentals occupied and leased, and how we assist through the entire process, and also how we assist our commercial clients with finding the right space, and also getting them into the space that they need, and also helping our clients that are looking to rent space find the space. So we're going to be talking a lot about those issues today. And the Quintero team, I've get these questions asked all the time. On the real estate side, do we deal with rentals and do we deal with leasing? And the answer is yes. We currently have a rental unit in the city of Miami, a two-bedroom, one bath, located near 27th Avenue and 11th Street in Miami, and we're doing that for one of our investor clients. And primarily, when we do a listing of a residential property, it's primarily for one of our residential investors. So some of the questions that I get asked is because some people think that we only do high-end homes or major projects, and no, we're a full service shop. We're the one-stop shop. We provide full service to all our clients. We just got a call the other day from a client locally who was looking to buy a small condo for his daughter up at the University of Florida, and he thought that maybe it was too small of a transaction. I said, no, we will help you to finance that transaction, and we'll help you out. So never think that a transaction is too small or too large. We will take a look at it, we will analyze it, and we will try to help you out with it. So is there any specific area of town that I work in when it comes to rentals? Well, when it comes to residential rental listings where I'm representing the investor or the owner of the property, I prefer to stay in the Kendall, Westchester area, which is the areas that are closest to our operating area, because sometimes it requires several trips to the property if we're not allowed to put a lockbox or some type of self access system on the door. Then we want to stick within the area that we're primarily focused on. This unit that we have in the city of Miami, we took that listing to accommodate our client and investor, and also his extended family that we have done business with. One of the things I want to talk about today is the difference between a residential lease and a commercial lease. On a residential lease, we need to qualify the people that are going to be living there. We need to make sure that they're going to be able to afford the rent, how many people are living in the unit, what their goals are, and does it meet the goals of our client, the investor owner who we're representing in most cases. So on a commercial side, basically we have to go even a little further, because sometimes the commercial tenant might be starting out in a new business. They might be starting out, they may not even be incorporated. So we need to make sure that the person that we're going to bring to our investor, the landlord, is a qualified business owner who's going to be able to meet the lease and meet the requirements of the lease and be there for the term of the lease. One of the things that I also wanted to talk about is, what are the client's expectations for leasing their properties? And I have that conversation with all our clients because everyone has a different expectation. And sometimes we have to discuss what reality is for that particular property. And we try to speak to them with facts and figures and let them know what is actually going on in that area. And if their price is a little bit too high, we will let them know that, because there's no use in having an investment property sitting there empty when maybe for $50 less a month they can possibly rent that unit and start making income on the property. What type of investors do we work with? Some of our investors live here locally, and some of our investors live out of state. And we represent both. We represent people that live outside the state of Florida and locally. The ones that live outside the state of Florida really depend on us to get this done for them, because they're not here. And, you know, they don't want to be flying in and out of town taking care of their property. So once we get it leased, we want to make sure that that particular tenant is going to follow through and that everything's good. So what do? I mean, you know, we do everything from a background check to run their credit, verify their employment, take a look at their, you know, income tax returns, take a look at their savings accounts to make sure that they have some reserves available once they get into the unit. A lot of these units, the people have to bring, you know, 3 months to the table in order to get in, first month, last month, and a month's security. So we really need to make sure that we're going to do the right thing and make the right recommendation to our investor. Some of the questions that I get is, do any of the tenants that I work with ever become buyers? And the question is yes. Sometimes we will find a tenant for an investor. We will put them in the unit. Everything will work out. And sometime during the term of their lease, or maybe their second year in the lease, they've saved enough money to look at possibly buying. And then what we do is we pre-qualify that person to get them ready to move out and find a home for them, so that they too can enjoy the you know, the beauty of home ownership and the write-offs and the benefits that go with that, especially building equity. We have that discussion with our investors because we don't want them to think that we're going behind their back. But if the tenant reaches out to us and they want that kind of assistance, we definitely have that discussion and conversation with our investor. The next part of today is commercial. And I had an interesting situation just happen yesterday. I had someone call on one of my commercial listings that is for sale over by Tamiami Airport. And, you know, the gentleman called me and I told him, no, that's not a rental, it's a purchase. They're selling the property. And he asked if I would help him to find a 2,500 square foot warehouse for his brand new business. So I said, yeah, I would love to. I'm going to send you an email with all the information I'm going to need so we could pre-qualify you. And so I sent them the information that I would need to be able to present to a prospective landlord that he wants to do business with. And, you know, brand new business, no business name, no financials, and didn't want to release any information. So I thanked them for the opportunity to assist them, but that I could not move forward, because how could we present a commercial offer for a lease to a landlord or a property management company in an industrial area and say, well, you know, new business, guy's a nice guy, and he really wants a space? It doesn't work that way. We need to be able to show facts and figures to the prospective landlord so that we can bring the parties together. Some of the other spaces that we deal with besides warehouse is professional office space. Recently, we found earlier this year, around May or June, a neurosurgical group. We found them a new office right here in the Kendall area that they moved into. They upgraded the space, and everything went very smooth, and they're very happy there. They signed a 5-year lease, and everything is moving very smoothly for both the tenant who we represented in that transaction and the actual landlord. So the next question I've been proposed is what are the financial requirements for a commercial tenant? And the commercial requirements for a commercial tenant are a little more in depth than they may be for a residential. And the reason for that is that the landlord wants to make sure that this new business owner is either established or new, has a history of running that type of business, whether that business will fit into that space that the tenant wants to rent. So, there's more in depth on the financials that we need to look at to be able to present to that landlord that, listen, we've got a real good tenant here for you that wants to go into your space for 3, 5, 7, maybe even 10 years or 5-year lease with a 5-year option. So, this person wants to be running their business, but we need to be able to sell this person and the type of business that they're doing to the prospective landlord. Basically, if you have a situation or someone that has a situation that wants to get involved in renting a property, whether residential or commercial, or someone that has a property they've been trying to rent on their own but have been running into difficulties, not knowing how to pre-qualify the prospective tenants, or maybe they don't have the time to show the property all the time as needed when people call. Let them know that we can help them with that. We could definitely help them to secure a tenant as fast as possible. We use a lot of different marketing techniques to reach out to prospective tenants, and the types of properties that we can list for rent are single-family homes, townhomes, condominiums, and on the commercial side, office space and also warehouses are the two types that basically we focus on here in the Kendall and Westchester area. So if you guys have any questions that are watching, please type the questions in as we start winding down today's One-Stop Shop Happy Hour Thursday. It was a little nerve-wracking here, trying to get everything to work correctly, making sure that nothing breaks down, and following what my teacher Andy Rodriguez in South Florida has taught me so far about this live Facebook videoing. And even though it's been a little nerve-wracking this afternoon, I think we got it done. And if you have any other questions that you may have, feel free to reach out. The number's on the board back there, 305-598-1600. And my email is mario@stcloans.com. I appreciate you tuning in. And until next week, have a great evening, a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you very much.